I have massive sewing supplies stash. Hi, my name is Agata. Welcome in Agata's cottage. It's time to put my stash to use and stop buying new fabrics. I'm sure some of you, or maybe all, heard about Last Sewist Standing and Know by Challenge started by Lisa Mischelli on Instagram a couple of years ago. I participated in Last Sewist Standing 2 years ago. I lasted 100 days without buying fabrics and I was very happy with myself. I promised myself back then I would focus on using up my stash. And that was an empty promise because there were so many lovely fabrics, so many great sales, so many temptations that my stash is extremely overflowing now. It's way worse than when I started 2 years ago. So I decided I'm participating again in Last Sewist Standing. I will do whole series and I hope you will join me and cheer me on and encourage me to use up my stash. I decided to call it the Fabric Freeze 2026. My aim is not to buy any fabrics till end of the year because I'm planning to attend the Knit and Stitch show in Lisbon in November this year. And I know there is no way I will go to the show and not buy any fabrics. So my aim is to beat my personal record. So will I last longer than 100 days without buying any fabrics? To make it interesting, I will have a little prize for someone who will be the closest to my number. It will be something handmade, something made by me. So that's okay if you don't want to participate. But I'm curious, how long do you think I will last? Place your bets in the comments below. I will wait for all the bets until 5th of April. So you have a bit of time to think how long I can last. Last Sewing Standing has three categories. It's heavyweight, where you don't buy any supplies except needles for the sewing machine and thread. Lightweight, when you don't buy any fabrics. You are allowed to buy stuff like ribbing if you need it to finish a project, or the lining if it's needed to finish the project. And independent. And independent is where you set your own rules. And that's the category I decided to participate in. And why independent? Because I started my no buy on the 7th of March. I knew I was planning to go to Carlo Fabrics on the 7th of March with my friends, and I knew there would be some fabric shopping involved. I had order waiting from them for collection, and there was no chance I will not buy anything while in store. Plus, I did needed to pick up some bits and pieces, mainly for quilting, in person. However, I sprained my ankle, so I couldn't go, and I placed my last order online. If you would like to see what I got, I will leave a link to my last fabric haul in the description box below and in the card here. In addition to late start, I'm setting up my own rules. First, I'm keeping my Make Mini quilt foundation paper piecing subscription. I absolutely love that subscription and there's no way I'm gonna give it up. I haven't made any of the patterns yet because of the time restrictions that happened in my life, but I am planning to work on those in coming months. And I do love all the information and all the resources that are available. So I am keeping that, but no other patterns, unless it's a free pattern. That's a different story. Second, I'm allowed to buy interfacing back foam or batting because I have good few quilts planned for this year. And I do potentially need more batting for what I'm planning to make. We will see how it goes. I will focus on doing the piecing part first. For the interfacing, I'm working on a lot of zipper pouches recently for the local charity, and I do need interfacing for the zipper pouches, for tote bags, etc. And what I have in my stash is limited, therefore that's something that I'm allowed to buy. I'm also saying yes to potential bias binding. Because I'm working on a project for our village, it will be 190 meters of bunting. I do need bias binding for finishing that. And what I have in my stash is not enough. I do have some cotton poplins or polycottons in my stash that might be suitable for making bias binding, but I'm not sure if I will have sufficient time to do it. Therefore, I'm allowing myself to buy bias binding for that, or bias binding for dresses for Project Dress a Girl. As you know, this charity action is very, very close to my heart, and I do want to make the dresses that will be cute and the girls will love them. So in case if I need any specific color of the bias binding to finish the dress, I'm allowed to buy it. I will limit myself to buying in my local store, so I'm not tempted to add anything additional, so I don't have to pay for shipping, or for example, because I'm already paying for shipping, maybe I should get this and this. So I decided no, I'm allowed to go in person and just buy binding there. And of course, standard needle thread, blades for rotary cutters, things like that. So things that are needed for making actual garments or quilts or makes in general. Although I do have big stash of thread, I have couple of boxes, so I want to focus on using up as much as I can first and not to be obsessed about perfect matching, especially when it doesn't matter. You might ask, why do it? First, to challenge myself. I do like to be my own competitor. When I was a kid, I was always told to compete with others. I was always compared to others. But I learned over the years that the only person I should compete with is myself. To me, this challenge isn't about restriction. It's about creativity within certain limits. It's about using resources I already have and using things that I already spend money on in thoughtful and creative way. I do want to limit my stash volume wise because it's getting hard to manage and my fabric stash starts spilling into other parts of the house, and that's not okay. And of course, in the process, if I will save some money and create fabulous garments either for myself or for my family or friends, that's cherry on the top. How I'm planning to work on my stash, work on the temptation. First, I will be using Stash Hub heavily, not only to remind me what's in my stash, patterns and fabrics, but also to help me choose projects to work on. And that will be separate video series coming to this channel soon. If you are a fan of Carol's Fabric Wheel of Fate or Diana's So Lucky Jar, please tune in because I'm sure you're gonna love it. I unsubscribed from emails from a lot of pattern companies, a lot of fabric companies. There was way more than I actually anticipated. I didn't realize how many emails I'm getting daily with offers across multiple sources. In addition to that, I'm planning to attend some Zoom calls with friends, maybe attend some virtual sewing socials to focus more on sewing with friends, with like-minded people, rather than on gathering supplies. So what's my goal? Is to last at least 100 days. Ideally, double that amount. Although I'm not sure how many days is left till knit and stitch show, but if I can last till knit and stitch show without buying any fabrics, I will be very proud of myself. And I do like to feel proud of myself. So I hope I will last till knit and stitch show. If in the process I will create some fabulous garments for myself, for my family or my friends, I will save up some money. That's cherry on the top. The main goal is to beat myself. And this challenge is not about restrictions. It's not about punishment. It's about using what excited me in the past, what I thought is beautiful and amazing, and just make something that I or others can wear and enjoy instead of keeping it on a shelf. I hope you will join me with this series. The Fabric Freeze 2026 starts here. I will come back with an update in a month. I will tell you how much fabric did I use, did I had any temptations, and what steps I took in order to curb that temptations. I hope you will cheer me on and place your bet in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, clean your sewing machine and change your needle. Happy sewing! Bye!